guys, it's Olivia and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for all the love and support I received in my last video, and if you haven't seen it yet, feel free to head on over to my channel to check it out.
It is so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
So guys, I hope that you enjoyed last week's video and I have some of the most exciting announcements. Drumroll please. We made it past 500 subscribers on the channel. So this means that we will be doing a book giveaway. And as I mentioned in my previous video, the book giveaway is going to include 2 books and the opportunity to get a book boyfriend bookmark of your choosing. So basically, I've done book giveaways on my channel before, and how it kind of works is essentially in this video that I'm posting today, I'll be dropping the link, a Google link where you'll submit a little survey of basically just your name, your email, if whatever book you want or whatever books that you want, or if you'd like it to be dealer's choice, which would be me, and I pick for you. And you'll also put your book boyfriend bookmark that you would want if you win. And then I give all of my subscribers 1 week to submit their form. So by the next video, I will have selected a winner. So you have 1 week after I once this video is posted to the next Saturday when I post again to submit a Google Doc if you want to participate in the book giveaway. Once I get your information, I'll send you a quick little email letting you know that you've won, asking for your book recommendations or not, and getting your address to send you a copy of 2 books of your choosing, or mine if you want me to pick, and a book boyfriend bookmark.
No purchase necessary, mini will enter, few will win.
Again, I am so thankful and grateful to you guys for getting me here to 500 subscribers. I know that some people in the YouTube world will be like, that's hardly any at all. To me, it means the world that even like 500 of you guys cared enough to hear my voice and to listen to what I have to say about books. It means the absolute world to me. And from my last video, we gained a lot of new subscribers, so welcome to the channel. So glad that you could be here. And thank you so much for supporting me and supporting Live in Literature. It literally means the absolute world to me, so thank you guys so much.
There's no way I can make it without you, do it without you, be it without you.
Now, to get into the video, we have a really fun video planned for today, and it might not be exactly what you're thinking, because as you've seen from the title, it's books that I got lucky with.
You're kidding, right?
I don't know what you people are thinking. You're thinking it's going to be a book selection like...
How in the hell?
Yeah, no, you little sickos. It's not that at all. Please, get your minds out of the gutter. I know exactly what you're thinking.
I feel bad for you.
I don't think about you at all.
No, it's not like that at all. I figured because it was the month of March, I'd love to talk about some books that I've quote-unquote gotten lucky with.
Well, this sucks.
You can take that as you will, but for me, what it means to get lucky with a book is a lot of times when I'm not feeling the TBR, when I'm just like scrolling through the books that I'm supposed to read and like I have all these books and I'm kind of like bored with it, I'll go to a Barnes & Noble and I'll just like peruse around and see what's going on. Sometimes I take a recommendation from someone at the Barnes & Noble. Sometimes I take a recommendation from someone that I know. Sometimes it's a total shot in the dark. Sometimes it's a genre that I've never even read. But sometimes I just try something that's completely out of my wheelhouse for a book and I end up absolutely loving it and it turns out to be an absolute smash hit. All the books that I have to recommend to you today are either 4 stars, 4.5, or 5 stars. So they're all within like the higher range of my star ratings. So I just wanted you guys to know. I'll be letting you know my star ratings as we go throughout this. But these are just some books that I feel like I've gotten really lucky with. And they were totally like unexpected, very much outside of my wheelhouse, not totally my vibe that I usually go for. But in the end turned out to be an incredibly well-written book. And it turned out to totally like change my perspective and like shift the genre around. Because I know a lot of you guys are mood readers. You read by the mood. You don't know what mood you're in and then suddenly the mood just like strikes you and you're like, I need to read a gothic fantasy right now. Or sometimes you're like, I need to read a mystery right now. And you've maybe never even needed to read a mystery, but all of a sudden it's like taking over you like a weird spirit or a ghost.
Oh, that was a little weird.
Trust me, I feel that. Sometimes I want to like mix it up. Sometimes I'm like, don't get me wrong, like the fantasy romance, I could just eat it up with a fork and knife all day long, and I'll continue to do so. But sometimes it's nice to throw in a little sprinkle of something different, something that I totally got lucky with at the bookstore and never would have found otherwise if I hadn't just like given something a try, something new, something I never would have picked up. So these are the books I'm here to recommend for you today, to maybe throw something new into your TBR and just to give something new a chance. So I hope that you'll go along with me as I give you the books that I've gotten lucky with. Let's get started. The first book I want to talk about is a total heavy hitter. Like, I'm telling you, smashed this out of the ballpark. It's a 5-star read. If you have not read it yet, you need to go read it immediately. It is The Silent Patient. Absolutely phenomenal 5-star novel. This book kind of came out of nowhere. A couple of my friends were reading it and they were like, Olivia, you have to read this book. It's incredible. And I'm like, it's not fantasy. It's not enemies to lovers. It doesn't have any romance in it. It's not really up my alley.
Let me think. No.
Pause. Totally valid. I was like, you know what? It doesn't sound like the book for me. But you know what? At the time, I was bored with my TBR. I wanted to read something completely different. And this kind of came upon me truly like at the best moment. Oh my gosh. Really got me into a new genre that I like normally don't ever delve into. This is a mystery thriller set in modern day about a young woman who's a famous painter married to a famous photographer. One day when her husband comes home after being married for I think about 5 to 7 years, she shoots him in the head. No, I think she shoots him like 16 times. Whatever. She ends up going completely silent after that moment. People chalk it up to she had a nervous breakdown. No one knows what happened to her. She ends up in an insane asylum. And this therapist who has studied her case goes to the insane asylum to basically study her, to help her like come out of her like state of shock, and to talk to her and to figure out what actually happened on that day. And did she kill her husband? Did she not? Who knows?
I'm intrigued.
Completely not my vibe. It was totally like the opposite of what I like to read. And yet I was so compelled. The author is incredible. Incredible. It's incredibly well written. It's extremely thrilling. There's so many different elements that he adds to it that I just was like completely shocked by. The twist ending is absolutely bonkers. And truly this book just like took me by storm, held on for dear life, and I could not stop reading. I think I read it in like 24 hours. It was literally terrifying to read, but absolutely so fun. So if you're looking for a new mystery thriller to just like throw into the genre, like throw into your DBR, please pick up The Silent Patient. This is an incredible book. I cannot recommend it enough. The next book I want to recommend is a gorgeous little 4-star read for you. This one's to really like wind things down. I'll be honest, sometimes with like the high intensity fantasy that I read, and sometimes with all of like the life and death stakes and like the
Anger. The fury.
The muscles.
the constantly moving pictures, I just want something that's just like slow and easy and low stakes. And I had never picked up a cozy fantasy before, but this was my first one, called Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. Legends and Lattes. This is like the epitome of like one of the trends that started last year, and I'm kind of here for it. I don't know if it's for everyone, but I will be honest, like it was a cute read. It was just like a cozy little read. It wasn't something that was like, oh my gosh, it's like grabbing me by the shoulders and shaking me, being like, you have to continue reading this.
Stop yelling! All right. Ha! Woohoo!
It was very much just like a relaxing read, like really cute. Essentially, the story is about a young orc woman named Viv. She is hanging up her bloodshed and her sword after a lifetime of just like pillaging and plundering and all those things. And she decides to open a coffee shop in a fantasy city, like in the middle of whatever. She has to open a coffee shop like all on her own with her own money. And it's literally just a very like low stakes fantasy book about a young orc woman trying to just like make it on her own as a business owner, and like the friends she meets along the way and how it comes to fruition. Literally, like it doesn't sound like anything that anyone's like, who would ever want to read the struggles of a business owner? Personally, I didn't think I would. I was very much like, why would I ever want to pick up this cozy fantasy? Like, I'd never read one before. I never picked something that was just like a slow read, just like a little jaunt of a cute little story. But I'll be honest, it really did intrigue me by the end, and I actually really became attached to like the characters, and I really enjoyed it. Was it like, oh my gosh, it's going to change my life forever, like Throne of Glass? No.
Nothing will ever compare.
But was it a cozy little read that kind of gave me like a sweet little detour, like through all the bloodshed and the pillaging and the romance and the do you want me and do you need me kind of things? It was just very like sweet and lovely. It kind of gives me the same vibes of A Court of Frost and Starlight, the 4th book in the ACOTAR series. Because like that one is kind of very much like, oh, it's Christmas with the inner circle and like, let's see what everyone's up to kind of vibes. It kind of gave me those vibes where it's like a sweet story, just fun to read, fun to just like relax and chill out and have a cozy little fantasy. So I definitely recommend A Cozy Little Fantasy to anyone who's willing to try it. This next book was one of the ones that I saw at Barnes & Noble, and I had been seeing kind of like float around Goodreads and Book Talk and people being like, it's really incredible or whatever. I saw it at Barnes & Noble, read the plot, and was immediately like, I don't know about this. I'm a little bit iffy. It seems kind of dark, seems kind of like not totally my vibe, but I'm so glad that I gave it a chance because seriously, like this was one of my favorite reads so far this year that I've had. And that is Alex E. Harrow's Starling House. Oh my gosh. Starling House, guys. Like seriously, like honestly life-changing. I cried at the end of this book. Weirdly enough, like I wasn't expecting to like get so caught up in it, but like I cried at the end of this book. It really like was so emotional and beautiful.
Are you crying?
No. Yes.
Starling House is about a young woman named Opal. She's in her mid-20s. She is an urban fantasy, so she's a cashier. She works at like a crappy grocery store. She struggled all her life. Her brother and her live in a motel. She is a high school dropout. Like literally like nothing is going good for her. And they live in this town called Eden, Kentucky. And there's this crazy manor that's like in the middle of this town that just like has all these spooky ongoings on. And she's been obsessed with this manor ever since she was a little girl, but she can never put her finger onto why. Until one day she meets the essentially like caretaker of the home named Arthur. He's a young man who's just like watching over the home. They meet. Things happen, fantasy, weird, spooky things start happening, and her life starts to change as well as the lives around the people in the town. I really was not expecting to love this book as much as I do. Like, it's very, like, it's definitely very spooky. It's very much just, like, the whole thing just feels very hopeless. There's no, like, it doesn't feel like there's hope for so many parts of this. It just feels, like, very depressing reading about this, like, young woman whose life, like, was completely derailed. Like, you know, when she had to like start taking care of her brother and like had to drop out of high school and had to get a part-time job. And it just was like completely like jarring to read this perspective of like, this is how some people live. And it just was like really like the author does such a good job like putting you in her shoes and like letting you feel what she's feeling. And I really enjoyed that. And I really found the story like very compelling, very sweet, and ended up being like a really fun like gothic mystery, like spooky town vibes, and a really fun urban fantasy. This one was a 4.5 stars. Like I really enjoyed Starling House. It's literally incredible. Thoroughly enjoyed this book. I cannot recommend it enough. Go read Starling House. It's so good. Next, I want to recommend for you a gorgeous, again, a mystery thriller book. Mystery thrillers, I'll be honest, were not on the radar. But then I read The Silent Patient. And so I was like, well, maybe I should give more mystery thrillers a chance. And then I put that off and I was like, no, I just want to read fantasy romance and historical fiction. Sorry, the girl wants what she wants. The heart wants what it wants.
I want it that way.
But one of my roommates was like, girl, please read this book for me. Like she's like, I'm telling you, it will change your life. And I was like, I don't know about that because it's not Throne of Glass. She's like, I promise it is really fun. It is really good. It's very fast paced and such a fun thriller. She's like, she's like same vibes kind of like as The Silent Patient, where it's just like keeps you on edge and there's a mystery element. We have Riley Sager's The Only One Left. The Only One Left is very spooky, very chilling, very fun mystery thriller, like takes place in the modern world book. I was not expecting to like this book. I expected pretty much to hate it. But to my chagrin, I ended up really enjoying this book and ended up really loving it. The book starts with a family murder in, I think, like 1923 by a young woman named Lenora Hope, who essentially murdered her entire family. But the police could never prove it. And so she's just wasting away inside this manor, just holed up in there without a caretaker. Fast forward to 1983, we have a young Kit McDerry, however you say her name. Her name is Kit. She's a like live-in at-home like assisted living nurse. She needs a job, and so she accepts a place at Hope Manor, which is where Lenora lives, and she decides to take care of this old woman. And of course, Lenora at this point she's like, she doesn't speak, she doesn't talk, she can't like, she does not like communicate with anyone. She's just like in a wheelchair, like just gazes off, like people are like, she's not all there or whatever. As Kit gets to know Lenora more, she understands that there's going to be more to this story, and she really needs to find out like what really happened on that night in 1923 with her sister, her dad, and her mother. Did she really kill them? We will find out.
Tune in next week for the exciting conclusion, Woody's Finest Hour! All right, next tape!
This is a really fun like thriller mystery. Again, like another one that was like really unexpected. The twists and turns at the very end came out of absolutely nowhere. I was not expecting it whatsoever. It was like twist after twist after twist. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like so overwhelmed by it all. Truly amazing, like keeps you on the edge of your seat. A very compelling story and very well written. I cannot recommend it enough. Oh, 5 stars, by the way. It is a 5-star read. And the last but not least book that I got lucky with, this one was from a debut author from last year. And I remember being like, okay, everyone's hyping this girl up a ton, especially one of my favorite authors, Miss Rebecca Ross, who like, I will sell my soul for. I love her so much. She is fabulous. Rebecca Ross is hyping this girl up. Like, everyone's hyping her up. Her debut novel, just like right on the scene. Like, no one's heard from her before. It's a fresh take. We don't know how she's going to be. And so I was a little bit skeptical because I'm like, I don't know. Like, everyone keeps hyping this book up. Like, everyone keeps hyping it up. Like, I'm going to take a chance on it. Like, I hope it's as good as everyone says. And it freaking was. We have What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. What the River Knows. Cannot talk enough about this like historical fantasy set in like very much like the mummy vibes of like Egyptian history and Egyptian archaeology, set with like a gilded age of like the early 1900s, like glamour and like, gosh, I just ate this book up. I ate it up with a fork and knife. It was literally perfect.
It's perfect!
Historical fantasy, I want more of this. I want more historical fantasy. Truly a game changer in the world of books. Book 2 is gonna be insane. The cliffhanger at the end of this book and the reveal, oh my gosh, totally shook me up for a real one. Literally jaw-dropping. I was not expecting it whatsoever. To give you guys a quick plot summary of this gorgeous historical fantasy, we have a young woman named Inez Oliveira. Yes. We have a young woman named Inez Oliveira. She's a young woman living in Argentina. Her parents are archaeologists. They spend half their year in Argentina with her and then the other half in Cairo, Egypt, like studying the Egyptian hieroglyphics. One day, a letter gets sent to Inez telling her that her parents have tragically passed away in Egypt. And so instead of staying in Argentina and becoming the sweet little housewife that everyone expects her to be, she gets on a boat and immediately sails to Cairo to meet her uncle who lives there. He lives there too, and he helps them do archaeology stuff. When she gets there, she finds that her uncle wants nothing to do with her from his assistant, Wit, who's essentially a young Englishman trying to get rid of her and basically trying to send her back on the boat to Argentina. So she can't figure out what's going on here in Egypt. Essentially, the two of them have to like put the pieces together, like what actually happened to Inez's parents. Is something mysterious and nefarious going on in Egypt, and are they going to be able to solve it? Again, this book is just, it's hot, it's sexy, but like in a very sweet way. It's just, I love Inez's character. She's just a fiery, like spite-filled woman, and she just wants to like have answers, and I really respect her for it. I respect her for fighting for what she wants. And Wit is gorgeous. He is stunning. He is beautiful. He is perfect, and I would die for him.
I would die for Riley.
This book literally leaves you like breathless. It's just an amazing book. It's just so well written. It's absolutely so fun, fast-paced, and literally such a great start for this debut author. Very glad that I took a chance on this book. It's literally amazing, and I cannot wait for book 2. It's going to be incredible. So that is all the books that I have to recommend to you guys today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Live and Literature YouTube channel. Again, we will be doing in this video, I will be leaving the link for the 500 sub book giveaway. We will be doing 2 books and a book boyfriend bookmark of your choosing. Do not forget to fill out the link down below in the description. Fill out the link to get your submission. And like I said, by the next video when I post next Saturday, all will be revealed of who won the giveaway and who I'm sending a gift to. I hope you're as excited for this giveaway as I am, and I'm so glad we could start introducing them back into the channel. It was one of my favorite things I used to do when I was like more up and coming, and I'm glad that I'm back on it. So again, thank you so much for all the new people who subscribed and all of the people who have been subscribed to me since day one. You guys are the best, and I'm so grateful for you. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.